Hello my little Stowe Warriors, yep, I'm back again, back with something a little bit interesting for you. What it's going to be, I'm going to go for, the reason I'm back so quick is because I've got like 2 builds that I want to go, kind of get out of the way so then I can reskill my traits, my skill tree without having to come back to the other build. So I'm going to get 2 builds out pretty quickly. One after the other, not this one, but I'm going to do this one now and then another one in a couple of days, so wait for that one. But this one's going to be a bit of a awkward one for you guys out there when it loads in. Okay, this little bad boy ship, it's a T5U. Yeah, I know, T5U, and probably people are thinking, I don't even know what it is, it's an orb weaver. Crappy old classic orb weaver, but this thing, I tell you what, is sweet, and I like to call this one the One Bang. The ship's name is called the One Bang, because this thing, if you set it up right and time everything right, can kill most things in one hit, no problem. And I'll show you how. Okay, right, so into the setup for this thing. As you can tell, not really epic on any of my gear. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not like matey boy old John Henry. You out there, if you watch this video, yeah, I checked your video the other day on the healer, and Jesus Christ, you spent some money on this game. Christ, you had like every single trait possible, every little item possible. So, wow, wish I had your gear, my man. Definitely have some fun with that. Alright, okay, so let's go through this build quickly. Try and get out of the way. Right, so we've got the neutronic up front. I mean, it's going to be a basic sort of standard what I would do for all my other sort of side builds. All your side builds are going to have just torpedoes because you're not going to put any energy damage down here. So up front we're going for neutronic and the particle emission plasma one. And then we're going to go for the Chronoton torpedo as well. That's basically to go with the 4-piece for the other, the Krenim 4-piece. Basically, I'm going to have for this one, definitely going to have the old Krenim 4-piece. Gives you blah 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 plus 3 silks orcs. Gives you this 14.3 exotic damage, 31.7 energy for 30 seconds. I mean, basically that's with the 4-piece. You get the 50% proc on the Krenim torpedo and the 30 seconds on all this. So why not? Might as well. And see the Krenim proc where it says there the 50% is where is it? Goes through 100% of target shields or whatever. I can't remember what it is now. Yeah, there it is. 50% chronotronic focusing array. Blah blah blah. So it's worth it. Why not? Why not anyway? Otherwise, if not, I'd only put like, I don't know, a temporal phase photon torpedo or something up there. But you might as well have the 4-piece. So go for it. For the actual ship deflector stuff, I would go for the solenoid for this. I mean, I could go for something else, but sod it, no, I want the exotic particle gen, so I'm going to go for the solenoid. And I'm not too worried about the drain expertise, not too bothered, because I'm not actually using anything but Tychons that does a drain, so I suppose it does for that. But really, I'm sort of focusing on the tractor beam, and the other thing I'm going to be using a lot and show you what does the one shot is this thing, but I believe what amps it up is control. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's control and exotic, so the drain doesn't really help that, but I'm going to have it on there anyway for the particle gens, and it's a pretty good deflector anyway. Secondary deflector, I'm not too sure about these, as I've probably said before on one of my other videos. I'm not really a psi guy, so to speak, so I'm not really 100% sure, but somebody said this one's okay, and I had it anyway, so I thought sod it, I'll just slap that one in there, and it gives me all that control. It gives me the exotic, gives me more exotic, and then it gives me the radiation damage buff, blah blah blah, to bridge obviously abilities. So I mean, that radiation buff's pretty sweet, so it's not bad. Okay, so engines, gonna go for that control one, that's why I'm going for the Delta engines. Otherwise I'd probably go for the solenoid 2-piece, but it just gives you like a Bit of shield boost, I believe, the two-piece for the solenoid one, so it's not really worth it. And I want the control, so I'm going to go for these engines. Warp core, I'm going to do the two-piece temporal this time round. Basically, the two-piece temporal gives you, what is it, plus 25% all damage over time hazard effects. So for this build, that's sweet because obviously I'm using a shitload of overtime damage stuff, so that's perfect for this sort of build. Plus the warp core itself, it's a good warp core and it has that trajectory jump, which I love. Shame the Delta one I believe's better for this because it has a drain. No, well, it has a bit of drain, but sod it, that two piece is worth it. Yeah, gonna have to. Yep, and the two piece for the Delta isn't worth that, so yep, gonna go for that. The shields are, they're nothing special, but they do give me the drain expertise as well, so they're pretty sweet for this sort of build. Rear weapons, gonna go for the the other chronometric stuff to proc that 4-piece up. Gonna have that on there, and that 360 array. I mean, some people would have a beam up front, but I've noticed these cooldowns are pretty well timed together if you put all these three up there, so they're pretty much always firing. So you might as well have 3 torpedoes up front and just have these sort of proccing at the background when you're running away from people or sort of whatever, have that sort of placate one. You probably don't want that to proc if they're in front of you, so it's probably nice when you're running away for that sort of to placate every 15 seconds, blah blah blah, to if that does ever work. I don't know how good that actually is, but if it does work, so that's pretty good when you're running away. Plus that's always hitting forwards anyway, and whatever, who cares about the back weapons, they're not really worth shit. Okay, so devices, we're going to go for the old favourites. I don't have any of the special devices, so I'm just going to have to stick with this red matter capacitor one. Going to have to stick with the subspace field modulator and then the reactive armor catalyst as well for the extra, hit points, regeneration hit points thing. So engineering consoles, gonna go for this one because it gives me obviously the exotic particle gens and the drain expertise. Not too worried about the beam accuracy, but it's a good sort of all-round console for those 2 little boosts. Gonna go for the binaural gel pack go for the 3-piece with the neutronic and the beam. The isokinetic cannon. See that one there, 17,000 kinetic damage. Obviously that's a lot more than 17,000. It will do like a 50, 60k hit or whatever. So it's definitely worth having on a side build. Then I'm going to go for that because it's got the EPG as well. This is these sort of 3 consoles are pretty standard for any sort of side build. If you've watched any of my other ones, you know that it's exactly the same pretty much on all those ones anyway. So science consoles, we're going to go for this one here just because it's got a bit more exotic particle generators. I mean, unfortunately, as if you watch my other videos, you realise I lost loads of shit the other day, so I've got bugger all consoles now to play with. I might have gone for this one because the Nausicaan, it's actually pretty good drain actually, that's not bad, 39.4, that's pretty good sort of drain, and the power transfer rate is pretty helpful as well, so that's not too bad. The disruptor damage a bit of a waste on this build, but that's not too bad. But because this one's got so much shield as well, that 25 times 2, 50% shield basically, that's a pretty sweet little console, so I'm going to stick to that. I wouldn't swap it for any of these sort of things. Maybe if I had another sort of control one or another drain one of these. I think I have one. No, I don't. I just have these ones left. Drain expertise and shield cap, but it doesn't have any exotic. If I had exotic and drain, maybe I'd swap it out for that, but no, I'll stick with this for the moment. Bugger all else to go in there because I've lost all my bloody consoles. And then we're going to go for the data core. I mean, must have in PvP against all the entropic shit. Plus you've got the 25 exotic particle gens and the control expertise, so yeah, definitely worth having on there. And then obviously I'm going to go for these sort of 3 things here. It's a bit of a shame I've got... No, I'm going to stick with that because I'd like to swap these out for control ones as well to see if that actually helps boost that thing there even more if I add the control, or if it's just the EPG that does the damage. Actually, let's test it, sod it. That will probably help, wouldn't I? So what is it? So it's 2509, yeah, let's just check if that comes off. Or if it's exotic that boosts that. Oh, it is the control, so okay. Okay, so future plan, bit of cash, probably get 3 of these ones, swap these out, because I'm not too worried about the drain. That's pretty good already. And if you do it with the hold, if you got the, because I've got the tractor beam 3 on there as well, I'm going to sort of hold them in the Tycon, so that's draining them. Yeah, so definitely I'm going to swap these, get 2 more of these I think for the control expertise, and then swap them out. Yeah, go for that, because these are drain, which is a shame, but that's all I had, so that will do for the time being. Okay, so then we go for that one, obviously for the, that's the last piece of the 4 piece of the other little set there, the chronometric focusing array, blah blah blah. And it is a pretty sick console as it on its own. It's got the exotic particle gens and the torpedo damage plus the polaron damage. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet little console. This for the boost on the exotic damage stuff. Obviously, it's a, you must have that or the anchor. I'd go for this because it's just more fun. The anchor does a little bit more damage boost on the exotic damage, I believe. Most people would have both, but I don't have the anchor anyway, so I lost it. I lost it in the old thing. I haven't bought it yet again, so I go for that. Plus, it's a sweet little move when you're running at people with that radiation damage. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, that's the. This is the console that comes with the. What is it? The tarantula thing. Yeah, I think it's called the tarantula or something. The big Tholian ship. This bloody console is just so overpowered, it's ridiculous. I didn't even realise, I'd never even tried it before on an exotic build, and then I gave it a go the other day just for a laugh. Honestly, when you see it go off in a PvP game, and it works with this as well, if you go invisible and then pug that, they can't see you, obviously you're charging it up, and it's just hilarious. And then if you manage to catch everybody in it, they all just die. Well, unless it pugs all their Zals, pugs all their bullshit, pisses everybody off, and yeah, it's deadly as fuck, funny as hell. So, okay, so that's all the gear on the actual ship. For the skills I've chose for this build, specializations, obviously I'm going to go for the temporal op 1. I'm going to do that because it's got the anomaly leash, blah blah blah, all that sort of shit you need with this sort of style of build. And then secondary is going to be my pilot. The actual space skills itself, this time round, because I'm not worried about beam damage, I put everything into torpedoes. It's probably not worth putting this shit in there, probably just leave it out, but I like to have a little bit of torpedo damage. Most people just leave that out and put loads of shit over here, or put a bit more in sort of defense or something, I don't know, but I thought bollocks to it. I'll put 3 in there and the torpedo damage, put that in there for the extra hull, got to have that in there and then leave it, and then everything else obviously just goes in here. Obviously you're not doing the long range targeting sensors, not worried about that, because I'm not worried about my beams doing any damage at range, so I stick everything else into here. I thought I'd go for the drain infection this time, why not? It's a little bit more electrical damage, sod it, why not? Okay, as you can see there, obviously max out that lot, max out the speed on the engines, blah blah blah, damage control, standard, and max on that, speed that up. Not really worried about the tactical stuff, not too worried about it because it's not really my main concern for this sort of damage build, so left that out. Okay, so trait wise we're going to go blade tooth shell. This is bog standard sort of stuff, guys. Do this every single build. I think it's the same sort of traits. I don't really change a lot because I haven't got loads. Again, as my friend Mr. John, you had friggin' billions of everything. I haven't got enough to play with. I wish I did. One day I will spend more money and get it all. I'm going to go for the astrophysicist to boost my exotic and my drain again, just a little bit more. Going to go for biotech just to heal me up. There's so many other things that you can sort of play with this, but where's the other one that I was going to do before? I was going to do that control thing. This one here, but I don't know if it's actually any good. I don't know, system disabled for 9.2. It sounds good, obviously, but then everybody in PvP usually has stuff to stop these systems going offline anyway, so is it really worthwhile? If it worked and their systems went off and they didn't have shit to get them back online, it would be sweet, but because I know that most people have counters, I do, so they must have as well, so it's probably actually shit, so I don't bother with it. Definitely go for the give it your all. Every time you're using your engineer stuff, you're getting the 20% of incoming damage for 3 secs. Sweet. Helmsman, just to speed up your turn rate, because this ship has got shit turn rate, big time. So, and you do the evasive manoeuvres, even though I'm not too fussed about that because I've got that other, DOF or whatever it is to sort that evasive manoeuvre stuff out. But I have it on there anyway for the turn rate. Then we got the inspirational leader, must have in. I mean, it's just sweet as a nut. You got to have that. We've got particle manipulation. Yeah, as you can see, because I've got a bit more APG now, my critical hit severity has actually gone above 50% this time, so that's a pretty sweet damage boost there, that one. Then we got positive feedback loop. Every time you do your whole shield, you get 10% exotic damage. Every time you do exotic damage, you get 10% whole shield and healing. So, see, it's constantly going backwards and forwards. It's impossible to time it, I suppose, because you're spamming so much shit. Well, I don't know. Some people probably time everything, but I don't. I'm a spammer. Yee, power to the spammers. Secret command codes. Definitely for this one. Resist, confuse, disable, blah blah blah, damage resistance, and the hit points. Once every 30 seconds. And you're always being controlled, so that's always going off every 30 seconds. And then I decided to go for a bit of elusive. I mean, I don't know if it's that great, but I was arguing with myself and I didn't really know what else to choose. You could go for failsafe scrambler just for that sort of get out of jail free card. But I try to be a bit less of a pussy as I as I should be. I always try to not use too many of those sort of get out of jail free bullshit stuff because I don't know why. Maybe I should put it on there. Everybody else would probably, but I'm not gonna. Okay, Starship Traits, right. Ones I like to go for. With this build, I find that the best ones are obviously all hands on deck. I mean, again, I haven't got loads because I don't spend a lot of money on Zen ships. I've got some, but not many. I mean, you can see what I've got if I go slowly. Nothing special. Some people have bloody hundreds, and it's crazy. But this is what I got: 10% recharge, time and science, and the 5 on captain abilities every 5 seconds. And that's pretty damn sweet. You got to have that one. I've decided to go for supremacy, just to give me a little extra boost in power levels. I mean, I could get rid of that and maybe go for like Delta because I use Delta, or Energy Web because I'm kind of using that sort of thing. Oh no, I can't because I'd have to use Beam Overload, so no. But I thought, sod it. I need a bit more power levels, and because I've got so much drain and all that sort of shit, it's going to give me quite a lot of power. Oh no, it doesn't make any difference to drain, does it? Does it do that to yourself? +2 all power settings? Oh no, it doesn't make any difference to my actual drain ability, so it's always going to be +2. But that's pretty sweet, and it gives you a nice little boost, so I thought I'd go for that. Then we got the peak efficiency. I mean, on this sort of ship, because it's Psi, it's always going to have really good sort of shield healing, so your hull's going to be higher all the time. It's always going to be above 80. Unlike little raiders, you're always kind of struggling to keep it above that 80. With this sort of ship, it's always, it's pretty much always above 80, so it's definitely worth having. You can get rid of like reciprocity and anything else that you can get rid of most of your cooldown shit. You don't need it as much because your peak efficiency is going to be working pretty much all the time. Always got to go invincible because I'm just a pussy, so invincible, haha, need it. And then I always do love that scavenger beam. I mean, if people watch my other videos, you realise I've fallen for the tractor beam like hard. She is my newfound love. Every ship I go from now on will have a tractor beam on it, I'm sorry to say, guys. Yeah. And especially with this scavenger beam, because of the health it gives me as well, it's pretty sweet. You grab them for ages, and that bloody tractor beam is battering the shit out of them with their damage, plus it's healing you at the same time. You can spam all your crap. Love it. Falling in love with it big time. Okay, so space reps, bog standard old classic ones. We're just going to go for the the active hull hardening. Going to go for the flight speed and turn rate for this ship because I bloody need it, because this ship is just shit turn rate. I hate it. It's probably because I'm so used to flying raiders that I hate it, and you cruisers and you other big ship flyers probably think it's perfect turn rate, but in my eyes it's pony. So I have that on there. We got the crit save, and then we got the bridge officer cooldowns again, and we're going to go for the exotic damage, standard stuff. Anti-entanglement, you know, these are just your bog standard, you're going to use all them anyway, so I don't need to go through it. Right, stations. Okay, so again, I've got all the, you know, the cooldown guys as my bridge officers. These what are they? You know, the Krenim guys. They've all got 10% recharge speed for the whatever seat they're sitting. So I've got an engineering. I've got 2 temporal tactical. So that's why before I said I haven't got a lot of stuff to cool down my tactical or any skills in my tactical cooldown. So I've got 2 of these guys up there. I only have 2 of them up there because I like a torp spread. I could swap this out for another psi one and maybe put what's it called? I can't remember now. Polarized hull. Maybe I could put polarized hull up there just as that little bit of extra help to get me out of the shit. But I don't bother. Nah, it seems to be alright without it. Sod it. Usually I'm with somebody that can heal me up anyway and sort me out. So I like to put a bit more damage on there. So I put a torp spread on there. Right, okay, so we're going to go for an Omega 1 and then Delta. You know, old school psi builds, you're always going to put the Delta and Omega. And then, as I said before, I'm not going to have a attack team because I want to have the supremacy working. So, yes, maybe I should get a attack team in there. But because I'm in psi as well, my shields seem to do pretty damn well. And so that I can remodulate my bloody shields myself. I'm not that shit. I don't need a attack team. So I have the beam overload 1 there to proc all that supremacy and give me the power level. So I have that. Psi guy, I got my Spock hologram there. So Spock he has got the trait of, where is it? That one there. So he's basically got astrophysicist as well. So he's got the exotic particle gens and the drains too. Same as what I've got in my character. So it's like having it twice. So that's why I have Spock. I got that pack, but I only really keep Spot and Montgomery Scott, I think, because they're the only one. Montgomery is the only other guy that has anything worthwhile keeping. He has Techie, and I think his Techie's actually better than my Techie, which is a bit. Yeah, is his Techie better than my Techie? Let's have a look. Techie, where are you, Techie? There it is. No, it's the same. I want to get all those superior techies and all that shit as well. I want to get all that stuff, but more money, can't afford it yet. So one bit at a time. Okay, so we got Tycoon's Rift 3. Love that move. Love it. Do indeed. Sucks the life out of people, especially with the high drain I've got and high EPG and all that sort of crap. It does really well. And with the tractor beam, you can just best thing is just to time it with your tractor beam. You know, as soon as you put your tractor beam on somebody, you can tell if they're going to placate you or not, because that's a bit of a pain in the ass with the tractor beam. You know, they always placate it and it's like wasted, so it's a bit bloody annoying. But some of the time, you know, you grab them and you're like, yes, they're not placating. Okay, right, time for the Tycoon. Then you've got like a good, however long it lasts for, 17 seconds. There you go. So 17 seconds you're grabbing them. Is it 17? Yeah, it is. Bloody hell, that lasts a long time. Right, so it's quite a while grabbing the shit out of them, spamming your Tycoons. Then obviously I've got the subspace vortex as well. Why not chuck that on them as well while you're grabbing them in that little pile of shit, and you can also put your other sort of stuff. So that's why I have that sort of 3 set up there. It's really nice sort of work. It definitely works with each other. Sometimes I change this for a subspace vortex 1, and then I put hazard emitters 2 on there because it's a little bit low. The hazard emitters 1 for PvP, you definitely need a little bit more, but as I said, I always fly with people that can heal me up anyway, so I'm a bit risky with this ship. And it's got no sort of cloaks, or it is a bit of a dangerous ship to fly, and people do know as soon as you're going to try that one bang bollocks, they're going to come after you big time. But I love it. I love this ship. Okay, so the engineering seating, I'm going to go for the structural integrity collapse 3 for this one, just to help the kinetic for all this sort of crap. And then I'm going to go for standard aux to SIF. You're going to use that with the buff every time. Everybody does, so why not? Emergency Pado engines 1. Maybe I should go emergency Pado auxiliary, but my warp core doesn't let me go over 125. Blah blah blah. So nope. Engines, I want to be a bit faster. So I'll go for that. And then obviously a psi team 1. Gotta go for a psi team. Okay, so that's that. Okay, these little guys up here, the roster dudes. Let's see what we got. We have got whatever his name is. Try and say it. Talikachitsiki. I don't know. Sounds Polish. But that one is your con officer. It's going to reduce your omega by 15%. Got to have that on there to get your omegas down. As I showed before, I haven't got too much to get my tactical side of things down, and you know, you can actually. I have actually flown it totally without a delta as well, and it seems to work okay. Sometimes I don't even know why I use the delta, because the cooldown seems pretty sweet. See, that went down to 30 like seconds already. So, and then it's like recharging 26, 25. If you count it down, it is like it's almost global, you know. And there it goes. I think it's going to stop there actually. Yeah, I think it's like stuck there. I think that's as far as it will go. So that's not too bad. But that's why I double up with the Delta and Omega, because you can't actually get it to do the 15 seconds, which is a shame. I don't think you can. No, it doesn't look like you can. Okay, then we're going to go for this guy. I always go for this one. That's why I go for the emergency battle engines, because I want to reduce my evasive maneuvers after I use that. So always go for him. This one here for removing use of any. I mean, it's a bit of a shit chance with only one of these sort of things. Put it that way, because that's not going too often. Not as often as I'd like it to go. The chance isn't great, but I have it on there because every time I take it off, I seem to do really badly. So fuck it, keep that there. Keep that there. And this is the one, obviously, that goes with your Orchestra Sif to placate for 4 seconds. You know, cheese character. Everybody uses it. Go there. Go for that one. This is the other one I use for that 15 secs, 50% chance to heal 40% of hull restored by hazard emitters. So it's not great with, as I said before, it's not great with hazard emitters 1, but screw it. Free heal, go for it. And then obviously you get the Tychon's Rift, that 25% chance, an extra Tychon's Rift. You know, no brainer. There isn't really anything else I could really use. I mean, I haven't got anything else, put it that way, that I could really use that would do me any better. So bugger it, go for that. You know, this thing, it's a bit of a shame. This one I don't notice it do too much. It's a bit of a pain in the arse actually. You'd expect it to do them all the time, because that's quite a high chance, you'd think. But no, it doesn't do it as often as I'd like. Put it that way. But I'm a moany old bitch, so I probably want it to happen every 2 seconds. Alright, okay. Let's just check if there is any PvP, because obviously I'm going to record a quick video after this. No, this is a problem with it. I try and do these PvP style builds, and there's never any bloody PvP to record. So I'll probably have to do boring old conduit or something, just so I've got time to do a video and put this out there. I mean, the way you fly this sort of ship is pretty simple. You know, just keep your face on, keep flying around at high speed. You could probably do the no, I wouldn't change any traits, like go for that pedal to the, not pedal to the metal. What is it? Blah 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 blah. If you don't have supremacists, you probably go for yeah, pedal to the metal, that one, because you're probably going to be flying at full speed all the time, so that's a good little damage boost. But obviously I'm not going to do it this time round. The best way to fly it is, yeah, just fly it around like spacebar spamming your bullshit. And then obviously when you got somebody captured, then you can go for your death move. I mean, you can even, it is quite cheesy in PvP to go invisible. You know, Romy cloak, pug that, then, you know, do your alpha, do all your shit, all your omega, do all your power boosts. Then when you see everybody in front of you, hopefully looking at somebody else, focusing them, just pug that piece of shit. And if you get anybody in there, they are done for. I mean, as you'll see in a minute, I'm gonna whatever I do, whatever SCF I'll do, I'm gonna try my best to get it all popping. But to be honest, you know what the lag's like. Sometimes you press all of these and you've only pressed bloody one of them by the time you've pressed that. These haven't worked, and it does my head in, the lag for me. Anyway, I have to press my button sometimes bloody 30 times to actually get them to work. So, but that's basically the way you fly it, you know. And then you can go on to your, even better, you can just like trap somebody with the tractor beam, put the Tychons on there, put that on there, put that on there, put everything on nice and slow, take your time, blah blah blah. You can even pop that and then pop that, so this is going as well. Your Delphic Tears draining them the wire, that's charging up, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's probably the best move. So while you got somebody trapped in all your bollocks, you're just charging that up with everything, spamming the crap out of them, and yeah, they're gonna die. I wish I could actually show you some PvP on it now, but obviously as you saw, there's nobody playing PvP, so I'll have to do a conduit and show you. Okay, cheers for watching, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. E-double-L, I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like Bledsoe. Ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. And I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full. I'm in it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, but we ain't kin. You think of jumping, man, you best think again. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Had some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge, take the door off your bins, pop up off all of your fans. Man, please, this shit ain't cynical. Man, no subliminal, I'm physical, financial, and mental to be a general. Hey, the mama claims she want a soldier, not the type be in the tank, but in that rover. Man, please, I'm in the zone like AIDS full blown. I'm killing it like a blind man reading. I'm feeling it like, oh yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. He think he got her when he know he's off his butter. He ain't never been a fighter. You can go and ask his mother. I'm a lover and a fighter, producer and a writer. Give your girl a quick fix and give your man a nice shiner. You know y'all don't really want it, and I can tell just by looking at you that you the type to run and go and tell just by looking at you. You on a mission for recognition by dissing. Didn't have no problem till the record started breaking, but y'all don't really want it. So let me tell you the deal. I'm also serious, I'm dirty, I'm no longer for real. I'm like a hop, skip, and a jump, a clock grip on the pump. From leaving you in the trunk, somewhere prepared to dump. But y'all don't really want it, so quit acting like you're deaf. I'm looking to my right, trying to see who's left. So you better watch it before I stick to the plan and be the next artist to run up in your stand. Like, yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it, man. Y'all don't really want it. Don't really want it. Y'all don't really want it with me. I know you shook, man. You ain't built for a skirt as a nigga can be. It's gon' sound